What's up, everybody? It's another Mundane Monday with Ballbreakers Podcast. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. And don't forget to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and YouTube. Here's Floppy Rock.
Thank you, Trout. We're back in the studio. First time all four of us have been back in maybe about a month or even longer. And we're going green in the lights today for the Eagles. A lot of Eagles fans here. Half of us. Other half are Chiefs and Cowboys. And
I'm not a Cowboys fan. I don't know why everyone keeps saying that.
You're a Cowboys fan.
At one point were
I'm a Jaguars fan.
Mm-hmm.
As
I
am
can concur.
But
Everybody knows, Doc.
You have a Trevor Lawrence jersey and a Blake Bortles Jaguars jersey.
Oh, my God,
and
yeah.
a Blaine Gabbert.
And a Blaine Gabbert.
you
These
did
kids
hop
don't-
ship, though. At one point, you were a Cowboys guy.
Yeah, but it was like one of those things where I was like 10 years old, kind of just like picking my team in Madden. I was like, I can't mess with this team.
They had a star, and you liked it.
Yeah, but then like, as I grew older, I'm like, nah, I'm off them.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
fair enough.
I respect that.
But Rocco looks really immersed in something on his computer. Something might be going wrong, so I guess I'll go ahead and ask you guys what's going on. What's new? It's been a long time since we've seen each other in person.
It feels like it's been a year.
It's been like 3-4 weeks. It's been like 4 weeks, I think, since I've seen Rocco.
I didn't.
It's been a full month.
I was never in panic on my computer.
What do you mean?
I just thought you looked fully immersed in something that was going on.
I'm cool under pressure.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am. I was just thinking about nerves today, actually, Doc.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Are you nervous?
What are you nervous about?
Well, I'm a little anxious today.
Hold on. That just reminded me of something that I heard I thought was interesting. So, according to an actual vision of your brain on a brain scan, when someone is nervous and excited, it shows up in the brain the exact same way. So the only way that you perceive the emotion is how your brain perceives it. I thought that was interesting. That's really all. That's the basis level of my understanding of it. But I thought that was cool.
I've heard something along the lines of turn your negative anxiousness into a positive anxiousness. Like, look forward.
I think I told you that.
Yeah, look forward to what you're going to do as opposed to be worried about what you're going to mess up.
Yes, and
Wait, what was it? Nervous and what?
when you're nervous
Excited?
and excited, your brain reacts the exact same way, like physiologically, but the way you perceive the emotion is what you're going to feel.
Like somebody reviewing your brain scan would say, I have no clue if this person is nervous or excited.
Because it lights up that specific region of your brain. But so what the person was saying is that if you're really nervous about something, and you can literally trick yourself into believing that you're excited for it if you think hard enough about it.
This is true.
So
That, you know what? That is kind of crazy because they're almost like the same emotion if you do think about it.
it's your heart rate speeds up, your blood swells a little bit. It's just that's how.
And it's
your
all
body
about
reacts.
flipping that switch.
You know what I related to? I was just going to mention something along the lines of that. It's almost similar to like a sports event when you're getting ready to play for a game. Sometimes you're nervous and have a bad game. Sometimes you're nervous but have a good game. You're still nervous, but you got your feet under you.
But you're excited.
Or are you just excited to be in that position?
Yeah.
Sometimes the two can very easily be interchangeable.
I've been thinking about it a lot, and by a lot I mean I thought about it yesterday when I woke up, and I'm like, why do I send people off with like a motivational little spiel? But what if I just started them with it, and then they would be like, let's go. Now I'm gonna listen to the rest of this podcast, and then I'm gonna, because most of the time some people listen to a podcast or anything, and they're like, I listen to the first couple minutes here, first couple minutes there.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't I start them off now?
Especially when we start off an episode like, Earl, how you doing? You're like, getting by. And then we get to the end of the episode, and it's like, you got to win Monday, man.
Yeah.
Just the full motivation comes out.
So, kind of what you guys are saying, right? Like, how you can differently perceive things. Like, how fast can you flip that switch in your mind? Like, this situation sucks, right? But even though we're talking about nervousness and anxiousness, but I'm talking about something else. Like, you can quickly turn that around, right? So, like, if you're driving to work and you get a flat tire and you're like, damn, my life really sucks. Or you could think like, wow, at least my car didn't explode. This is a good day, right? Like, how quickly can you flip that switch? And I think that's what we want to talk about. Well, that's what I want to tell everyone today. Like, how quickly can you flip that switch?
It's actually a wall when you're on the negative side of things, though.
No, but when you're on the negative side of things, it's really hard, right, to flip that switch, but you gotta.
You know what's really odd? Sometimes I'll be on the negative side of like the anxiousness or the day or whatever you want to call it. And I'll immediately think, I know I'm on the negative, but why can't I like snap out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Like
and
I'm
that's
aware
something
it's
you
happening.
have to practice.
Yeah.
That's something you have to practice. You can't just, day one tomorrow, you wake up and you're like, oh man, I'm sick.
Just like snap out of it.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah, but you got to practice it.
Also, misery loves company, and when you're upset, it's so easy to have it snowball into other things. If you wake up and you're upset, you don't want to go to work, and you stub your toe getting out of bed, then you're like, this is the worst day of my life. And then every other little thing that is negative, you're going to notice it so much more, and you're going to be more angry about it progressively.
Mm-hmm.
I feel
So
like,
that's why. Go ahead.
I feel like I feel like if there's any time I have anxiety, I feel like it's when I'm not performing my best, because now I'm upset that I feel like I should have done more.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's where it's
just to
snowballed.
piggyback off what Chris was saying, like I am actually a big firm believer in like karma, good or bad, and just to like how do I say, just to like talk further into that, I really believe that like the energy you put out, the world will like give back to you. So if all day long you're like miserable, I'm the Grinch, like, you know, like Chris said, misery loves company, that shit's gonna keep rolling into you. But if you put that positive energy out, I like to believe it's gonna come back to you.
I agree.
What, Rock?
Why are you shaking your head?
Saying something meaningful over here. Doc started yawning.
Listen, I've had a long 2 nights. I'm good. I'm ready to go.
You're
but
nervous about the Chiefs.
I'm not nervous. Anyway, I like to say control what you can control, right? I feel like that goes hand in hand with this.
Can't worry about something
What
you
is
can't
so? I'm
control.
trying to be serious here,
I'm sorry. You're right.
right? You got to control
No,
what you
you're
can
right.
control.
You're right.
That honestly, when you are dealing with a lot of situations and you just think about that, you can calm your nerves pretty quickly. Because if you really genuinely sit down and think about the things that you are worrying about, most of it is out of your control.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
That's just as real life as it gets. But a lot of times you don't realize in the moment, because it's very easy to get consumed by a certain emotion, a certain feeling, a certain situation. So, and you just think about that. You can reverse that pretty quickly. But it's hard to think about at the time. So
Yeah, at the time it is really tough.
You have to diversify what's going on in your day. If you're like in a very quiet place, maybe throw on some music, get your mood jumping a little bit.
if you're sitting on the couch for a long time, get up
Yeah,
and do some
'cause
jumping jacks or something.
Your blood is going to settle, and you are going to like be calm.
If I could recommend any calming music, I would probably say if you guys go on YouTube or even Spotify and just like search up like lo-fi. And
Yes,
there's just like
lo-fi's good.
on YouTube, it's just a video of a girl and a cat, and she's like writing notes and tapping her pencil, but it's really relaxing.
It's like the most relaxing. I put that on while I study.
Yeah,
And
when
it's incredible.
during my workday, I just play it all day, and then when a customer calls in, I just mute it. But
This might sound weird, but I've recently found that I get the same effect from listening to a Tribe Called Quest. Their music is so chill.
a beautiful band, beautiful collection of artists.
Unbelievable.
We
I could
used-
put that on and just listen to their whole discography.
If I recall correctly, like when you guys used to live at college, like me and Doc noticed that you would have a playlist that was meant for you studying, and it was a very nice playlist.
Yeah.
It was like
Mozart.
Mozart. Yeah,
I'm telling you.
that stuff works though. Like
It
they're
does.
studying about
Now,
it.
I remember hearing about that in like high school, and I didn't study in high school, and if I did, it was a very little amount. And I got through like maybe a year and a half of college without studying, and then it came to a point where I was like, I need to study to actually pass these exams.
It wasn't just Mozart though. There was like some like very calming EDM music that would be in there too. That like
Yes.
kind of just had a beat to it.
Yeah, just that's kind of like how lo-fi is.
Mhm.
It's just like a beat kind of, and it definitely has some kind of properties within the sound to have calming effects. I know that.
I wonder, like, what is like the statistically most calming genre of music? It's got to be lo-fi. I feel like that shit is beautiful.
It is. And also
Classical.
some classical music has
classical.
to be up there. But
Some, like Mozart and stuff.
you know what? It's hard to explain, but it reminds me of like a movie scene where someone's like really intently studying for something, and there's just classical music going on in the background, and you can see the person is just totally absorbing everything on the screen.
That's why
page.
I was chuckling about 30 seconds ago, because I was picturing you at a desk listening to that,
Yeah.
absorbing the information you were taking in.
It really helps me. I listen to classical and lo-fi when I study, and I get way more out of it.
Would
And it's
you-
also, at some point, it's a psychological thing, you know? If I think to myself, I'm going to put on this classical music and absorb more, then why wouldn't I put it on, you know? So I do every time.
What were you researching over there?
I was just looking up like statistically the most calming music genre, but the genre was like Weightless, and I have no idea what it sounds like to explain to our listeners or even you guys.
Weightless?
It says weightless music. I'm not.
It probably is like waiting music in elevators.
No, like weightless, like without like weight, like
Like
0 pounds.
The absence of weight.
Yeah, not like waiting.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Not like a line where you wait for your...
It's
I
it's more like
understand.
weighing.
I understand.
Yeah.
It's like the absence of mass.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I searched it up. I don't know what it sounds like. I can't
Let's-
explain it.
Let's shift real quick. Ball breakers had, because we have a lot to talk about today.
Wait.
You guys didn't tell me what's new. Anybody got anything new going on in life?
I watched The Social Network for the first time.
Is that different than The Social
That
Dilemma?
movie's been out for a while, right? Like a long
Yeah,
time.
I think
Yeah, like-
2007.
Like, I was going to say, like, 2010 or
It's
before,
about the
right?
start of Facebook.
Yeah, and
Which-
I really enjoyed it.
What's The Social Dilemma?
That's
That's
about
like
like
a-
how people are using their phones too much and stuff like that or something.
That's like a documentary, not a movie, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
And Social Network is the start
It's
It's
basically
how
like
Facebook, like
of Facebook.
yeah,
It's a
Yeah.
portrayal
it's
of
about
Mark
Mark
Zuckerberg.
Wahlberg.
it's kind of like a Mark
Zuckerberg.
Zuckerberg biopic.
Well,
yeah,
hold
it's
on.
Marky Mark and the Funky
Yeah.
Bunch.
So we always talk about like these guys like Zuckerberg, Bezos, who started this stuff. What about when they started it? What did you guys start off with on Facebook?
Huh?
Like, was it like were we in, like, I was in middle school, I believe, and started like a Facebook profile, and that was the height of my Facebook experience was through
Mhm.
school.
It
I
was like
believe.
8th grade for us.
I believe the second I got to college, and
it was school, right? That's how it started. School,
for sure school.
which is kind of like how the basis of the movie is.
Honestly,
Like
Mark
that's why they
Zuckerberg
did
is
it.
an asshole.
He
Mhm.
is.
So if you never watched it, Rock,
You would
I'm
enjoy it,
gonna have to
Rocco.
give you spoilers because it did come out in 2007.
I don't care,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And anyone listening, if you haven't watched Social Network, here's your disclaimer. But
off
basically,
now if you
he
haven't.
yeah
It's also a really long movie.
he just started Facebook at Harvard, but at first it was a blog where they were just rating girls around the school, like saying like, oh, Jenny from down the hall is a 10 and her roommate is a 4, and that's how Facebook started.
It was like right or
Basically.
left, like which one you click, which one's hotter, or which one's
So basically-
better looking.
Right. So basically, like anything that would tempt like an average human.
College,
Right.
Just
college,
like an
yeah.
average college
Yeah.
male.
male,
like,
yeah.
But if you think about where it's grown from that to now, like, that's fucked up.
But it's
Yeah.
a really good movie.
He got his first start just capitalizing on women's insecurities
Yeah.
and securities.
And then the whole thing, like, he like stole someone. It was someone else's idea,
I hate-
but like it wasn't. And then
I hate talking about this kind of stuff because it makes me think of like every possible cause and effect that comes from this, and I feel like there's way too many on social media.
I mean,
Well,
well, think about
Zuckerberg's a
the,
dick.
the
Like not
ripple
social media, but like
effect.
Facebook. You know, like you're
Just
like
Facebook itself.
I
like
was
ha-
telling Doc that actually used to be one of my favorite movies until I found out that Mark Zuckerberg was selling our information to sway whether we would vote Republican or Democrat. And then I was
And
like,
much
man,
more
I'm,
than we even know.
I'm really off Mark
I
Zuckerberg.
think. Oh my god! I think the idea
movie.
of like I think it's just so interesting that Democrats and Republicans like even fight against each other's ideas for the same country. Like, I think it's the weirdest thing in the world.
yeah,
I'll tell you what. A movie recommendation that I have is Don't Look Up on Netflix. Did you watch it?
nah. I've been hearing a lot of mixed.
I
reviews.
saw a lot of reviews
So,
about
what's-
it, and one specifically I saw was like when you start watching this movie and realize that it's like not really fiction.
Hold on. So let me just tell you, because I was talking to someone last night about this.
You got to
Greg,
lay the
friend
land
of the
for us, though,
podcast.
because I don't think all three of us have ever
So-
seen it.
I haven't.
So this movie, this is actually really crazy because I came to a conclusion last night about it. The movie is that there's a asteroid hurtling at the Earth that a group of scientists from MIT found, right?
What is
And-
MIT?
A big science technology school. Ivy League.
Oh, yeah.
Or it might have been Harvard. I forget
One
what
of
college.
them.
It was an
Either
Ivy
way,
League
it's in,
school.
One
like,
of those
Massachusetts.
I've
right?
heard of MIT. I was thinking the Men in Black for some reason.
So there was a professor and a student that was up for a doctorate that found this comet that was going to basically destroy Earth. It was like half the size of Earth, and if it were to hit the Earth, everyone was gonna die, right? So it was such a big deal that they had to take it to the White House because there was a way for they came up with a way for it to deflect it, right? They would have to hit it, and there were still chances for it to hit Earth, but it wouldn't destroy everybody. But what happened was it just turned into straight political discourse. Everything about it was politicized. So, and what happened was there was a group of people that believed it was real and a group of people that didn't. So what happened was it was either you're on this side or that side, which is obviously not right because they were preaching and preaching like we have the science and the data that shows, and you can see it through a telescope just coming at Earth.
Can I ask one question real quick?
Yes.
Because I feel like in this scenario, like when it comes with COVID, it's different because like it has to do with a vaccine and it has to be injected into their body, right? So forget about that for a second. With this movie, it's a meteor that's coming after Earth. So
it's
that really
life
has
or death, literally.
Right. So what was the pretense of those people not believing it? Like, can you give like a little foreshadowing of that?
Yeah, so people were believing that it was just another like a fear implementation to people.
But why not attack it if it doesn't have to do with the people?
Well, that's the thing about politics. A lot of times when something is politicized, there's a part of it that makes no sense, right? Or it makes sense to certain people, and then the other side doesn't make sense to people. It's just like literally a 50-50 split with people and why they believe something. So the thing that I came to the conclusion was, excuse me, what happened in the movie was like with anything in politics, there's going to be certain companies that cover
lobbies, super lobbies, and all that.
There's going to be people that cover it and say you should believe this because it's happening, and then there's other companies and TV outlets that run it and say this is fake, don't believe it, right? So what I came to realize is that from everyone I've asked that's watched the movie, they said that they like it a lot. But if you go online and look up reviews from big time companies, they don't like the movie because it's a depiction of how messed up they are. So
Well,
that's
yeah.
the realization that me and Greg came up with last night, and I was thinking like, well, Greg kind of pointed it out to me. I got to give him a little credit. I don't want to say we, but I realized that everybody I asked said that they liked the movie and it was interesting and enjoyable. But if you look online, all the big time companies say that it was a bad movie, and it's like shouldn't be taken seriously.
Well, I've come to realize as part of like my life that ties with this is like you realize like all these big companies kind of just like tie in with the politics that benefit them most as well.
They can portray an image to people that is going to benefit them,
Right.
whatever it is, whether it's politics or a lot of times something that isn't politics, but it's tied to politics.
And
like
that
COVID. Like, why is a disease that's running rampant around the world have to do with politics?
And
it
that
shouldn't, right?
And that realization of like all that manipulation that's happening makes you like kind of question a lot of things that happened before.
Right. And the fact that everyone that I asked that watched the movie said they enjoyed it, and it's written badly about online is just such a weird like confirmation to me that they don't like the
holy shit
depiction of them, as well as the government, because the government was depicted as dysfunctional.
Well, listen, Doc. This is a lot for me and you to wrap our brains around.
I definitely
Rocco and Chris were like super into it, and me and you were like, God, monkeys clapping like Jimmy Neutron, like monkeys clapping
Elevator
cymbals.
music and just
I do
want to
say that was a tangent for me. I just went off on a tangent.
No, that's
but
good. That's what we want. That we
I-
want
I
you to
just
pick the
thought-
brains of our brains, even though me
I
and Doc
have a
had-
crazy theory for you guys,
Let's hear it.
and this might be like, it's like really
Is
outlandish.
this going to be like as crazy as like Richard Nixon talked to aliens?
Well, that's true, But
Him and William H. Taft.
I was sitting in my bed the other day. I was watching Eternals, and this Marvel movie, right, and superhero movie, whatever. Like we're into the superheroes and
Me
all that
too.
crap. Okay,
I actually just watched my first 2 Marvel movies.
what were they?
In the chronological order. Captain America first, Captain Marvel second.
Okay.
You gotta watch
Did you like
Spider-Man.
'em?
Come on, Doc. Let's hear this.
Okay, so I was.
I just wanted to put that out because
Before it's
It
gone, man.
actually like Rocco's mentioned Men in Black, and that's where I kind of. So you guys all see Men in Black.
oh yeah.
You know, I remember in Men in Black where like when they want like humans to forget what they've seen, they like flash
They hit the thing.
gone forever. Well, I was thinking about that the other day. Like, what if like superheroes are actually real, and like there's like a superhero that has that kind of power where they just make you forget that you ever saw them.
I actually had that thought in Captain Marvel. I swear to God.
Like how obviously like
Well,
what if we stumbled across like a freaking dude shooting laser beams out of his eyes, and then he just made us forget that he ever saw us.
And he
And I
goes
was
like
like,
this, and it's
So hold on.
everyone
Let me,
forgets.
let me.
I know it's like really outlandish, but it was just like a thought.
Let me
I
lay
had.
the land real quick. So Doc said he was watching Eternals, right? So it just came out on Disney Plus. It was out in theaters like 2 months ago,
Yeah.
a month ago. Their like spiel is that like
It's
they
actually really cool.
They are like gods, like lowercase g, like, and they are named after. Yeah, they're not like the Sky Dad,
Yeah.
capital G.
Yeah.
Like they're gods, lowercase g, and what it is they essentially taught humans how to civilize themselves, right? So like they're named after the Greek god. So like Athena they actually named the Greek god Athena after her because she's the one that taught them everything, and Icarus and all of them have like those Greek godly names. So then you see this movie, right? And then it does start to pick your brain like, holy shit, were there people at the beginning of time that were teaching humans like, yo, this is how you start a fire? Like, who's the
Yeah.
first person that started a fire, right? And then it starts to pick your brain like, holy shit, was there a lowercase g god that was teaching someone how to do this? Like Athena or Icarus or...
Those are like my thoughts through that
Wait,
entire movie.
And then you watch that movie and then you hear stories from religious scripture, like the story of like Moses, like there's a guy who parted the sea, like he was Aquaman.
yeah,
And then, you know what I mean? And then
Right,
then
right.
people cross this land bridge that when he parted the sea, and then it's like you watch these movies, you hear these scriptures, and then you think like, well, those people did get to Jerusalem somehow. Is it possible?
yeah. And the crazy
Dramatic
part
pause.
is like these superheroes are like, or they're eternals. Basically, they can't die or whatever. They live
Yeah.
forever.
Lowercase g gods.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. So
they
the-
can't
when-
get involved in human conflicts.
There's so many possibilities.
Like they're
when it
there
comes to
literally
this.
just to like help civilize humans. And,
Right.
And like there's a guy who's a face of Fastos who's
Fastos,
literally
yeah.
just he's technology. Like he shows them how to make different like
Yeah,
pulley
like,
systems
like
to
a-
build the
yeah,
pyramids.
no,
No,
literally,
yeah, one of the
Right.
scenes in the movie was like they were in the ages of like Babylon AD, like in the war and all that stuff, and he was like, yo, I got this cool tech to give them, these humans. He's like one of the gods. He's like, I got this cool tech to give them. Look, it's a steam engine. And the girl was like, wait, they're not ready for that. Let's give them a plow instead.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's just like,
Damn.
how do people like
Is that a series you said or a movie?
Just a
It's a
movie.
movie. You would actually enjoy it, Chris. 'cause
No, I would.
know
I'll
you're-
watch it.
I thought the movie was awful. I think it's the worst Marvel movie of all time.
I enjoyed
Interesting
it. I thought
concept,
it was,
though.
I
Wait,
actually,
It is.
I
They-
also
they kind of dropped the
heard
ball.
that.
Hold
They
on.
dropped the ball on
You
it.
just made that seem like so interesting and so outlandish and enjoyable, and then you said this is the worst
I would
movie of all
actually say
time?
that the first two Thors are the worst Marvel movies, but I will tell you guys that Eternals, as far as big critics and even consumers alike, they just regular everyday consumers, they did say
They
that
didn't like it.
Eternals.
it's a whole different. I thought it was just a completely different.
The
like,
concept is great.
Yeah.
They could
Yes.
have really hit home
Yeah.
Mhm.
100%, but I think that they.
You
Do we have
know,
any Entourage listeners? Entourage watchers?
Dude, my mind just shifted
Entourage
in a
is-
completely different way when you guys were talking about Eternals.
Wait, real quick. While I'm telling you guys that Eternals is bad, this is exactly what happened. And anybody who's watched Entourage, Chris, you'll know, and anyone listening at home, what happened was COVID came out. They couldn't get a big name director to film Entourage. They hired someone named like Chloe Zhao, or her last name is Zhao, and she is just a con director. She goes to con. She goes to South
Billy
by
Walsh.
Southwest. She's just like Billy Walsh, and the movie was not good because the director was an indie director.
And if you watched Entourage, you know how funny that part is of the
Yeah,
show
man.
with Billy Walsh.
So like instead of hiring like
Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, they hired you.
Yeah. No, I get it.
And that's what happened with that movie.
I agree from what you said about it. It definitely could have been a lot better. Like they could have really like made it probably the best Marvel movie, but it just wasn't. But it was good. It's still definitely like a
happened,
movie
Rock?
you should watch.
Because my mind just shifts differently when you talk about these kind of things, and I don't like it. I don't like it.
Why don't you like it? That's a good thing.
Because the first thing that I think about is like, I'm not saying one's right or one's wrong, but you bring up like, well, there had to be. Are you stating that there's some sort of story that had to have been true in the past that's relating to these guys?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe in any of that stuff. Sky Daddy, all that, lowercase
You know what
g,
that's
saying that
high
it's a
case
cool
G.
concept about.
No,
It
it
starts
is,
to-
but it's
it lets
possible.
to get you think.
But it's
Yeah.
it's
enough.
it's
Literally,
a
it got me to
possibility.
think that like superheroes are real and that someone flashed me with a thing, and now I forgot that even existed.
Yeah.
Because you could look at it as like
Why-
a
why
whole
not?
possibility that these stories were like written and then just copied over time, or you could look at it as maybe this is a true story that was one day
Yeah,
taken
and
down.
it's awesome to think about. I wouldn't lose like sleep over it or anything, but it's,
Mm-hmm.
You ever think that there's a median that people just choose to like not even think about? Like maybe like half of this stuff's true.
yeah.
Maybe like the power stuff isn't true in religion, like all of these like miracles and stuff. Like I'm not saying I believe it; it's just a possibility. They were just added as part of the myth.
Well, those stories are from thousands of years ago, so it's like the only
when I see
they're passed
stories
down.
from like the Bible, I always or like any religious scripture, like something like that. Like there was a guy who parted the sea. Like while we're talking about Moses, like it's like playing Whisper Down the Lane, but over millions of years.
Yes, that is
That's-
a perfect analogy.
and what you said about so basically kind of what you're saying is these lowercase gods are just people that kind of laid the groundwork of how human behavior should be.
Yeah, so like for instance in the movie there's a scene where they're planting stuff and the girl shows them how to make an irrigation system.
So that it's more like tangible things, how to build and create, right?
I'm
the
not
most
sure if
part.
they like teach them how to like think and talk and
So
stuff.
that's what I was
Well,
going to say.
that's no. I don't think they do. I think they more so just
advance their
advance
civilization.
yes,
Yeah.
advance in what they're
Right,
doing
right.
currently.
So what that led me to down the road was Socrates. Like, are you familiar with Socrates at all?
Mhm.
A little bit, yeah.
So basically,
He's a
his-
philosopher, right?
He's a philosopher, but his whole thing, he got thrown in jail, and they wanted to kill him like thousands of times. But his whole thing was that he was basically a lowercase god, but instead of teaching people how to do physical things, it was ways to think.
Mhm.
So he would preach existentialism, free will, that kind of shit. And there were so many people that hated him for it.
There's
because
probably
it was,
Yeah, well, people don't like as far as governments all through time and the world now. They don't really like free thinkers.
and at a base level, it's like vigilantism at almost
At his
'Cause-
time,
right?
Yeah.
Because
But-
he's not contracted by anybody. He was just walking around. That's the craziest. If you ever want to go down a wormhole, just read about Socrates. Because when I had to take an ethics class, we had a whole thing on him, and I had to write a paper, and it's incredibly interesting.
Yeah, it is because and the best way to put it is that he was ahead of his time, I guess, with like thinking from today, I guess you
Mhm.
could say. And dude, another thing I think about is we talk about all these possibilities, right? So you're saying like Socrates was basically a vigilante in the
Mhm.
community at the time. So like what if there's actually this side where like the government and everyone above us actually does know more with that information and is trying to do what's best, and then we're just not abiding to it.
Hold on. I don't want you guys to answer that. I just want you to think about it. And listeners at home, and I really want to apologize
That's where my mind shapes.
Apologize for what?
because I sent us down a wormhole and we had some important information we wanted to get out in like the early parts of this episode. So
All right, let's do
Nah,
it.
but
It
that
just
was-
makes you think, though.
that was
right?
good
That was
shit
on me.
because it's
I
like,
saw. I thought
No.
I was Flash, and I forgot.
I
a
didn't
superhero.
know. I didn't know the kind of deep depths we were going to head into, and I just wanted to
No,
like
it's a really good thought.
give everybody some good news that's going on within the podcast.
I do want that. Yeah.
Rocco, did you want to give it? I did cut you off earlier.
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
do
My
agree
mind,
with you, though, Rocco. If you want my answer,
like that possibility.
yeah, it's possible.
that they have too much information to
Mhm.
know more and to basically
Well,
lead us
that-
to safety.
That's why you hear stories about people that know too much just disappear. Like,
Like Edward Snowden. Is that his name, Edward?
They tried.
Snowden, yeah.
Or Eric?
They
or
literally
whatever?
exiled him, Edward Snowden. Yeah, to Russia. He can't come back into America. He's in Russia
Because he knew too much.
because he knew too much. Like, come on.
That's-
It's incredible.
It really is. Oh man, we got to get off this.
Yeah.
We,
Listen,
I feel
All right,
like
that was a good
I
ending.
feel like we can really go in depth with that if we ever meet a true. What would be a professional in this field? I guess would it be conspiracies? I don't know.
But that's the thing when you talk about something like this, conspiracy. Are you a professional or are you fucking crazy?
right.
And
Yeah,
that's
that's
the
true.
thing,
fine
like-
line.
So
It's an incredibly fine
So we
line.
would need somebody who's a fact checker on what we're saying, right? Like maybe give us
Yes.
facts throughout our theories.
But then, like Chris was saying, what if our fact checker is from CNN? Holy shit.
You're right. Then there is that part of it, right? Like
Yeah,
those
like,
textbooks that
come
were
on.
written could all just be BS because it's
fake
whispered
news,
down the
guys.
lane. Yeah.
And then on the other side, we get some guy from Fox, and he's like, "This is right." And then now,
Or
back
vice
in our-
versa.
We're
back
right-
in our loop.
We're right there.
I guess that's where life comes in, right? You got to dictate what's real and what's not.
And you got to. Everybody has personal preference. Unfortunately, that is something we all have. Because if we didn't, we'd live in a utopia. But maybe it is.
Listen,
fortunate
one
we
thing I
have.
will say is that for anyone listening out there, if you do have opposing viewpoints to someone, I hope you respect them for it and don't want to tear them down and create a what's the word?
Division.
A rift.
A rift, a division. You know, we might not all agree on stuff, but we can still love each other.
All right,
So,
here it is.
People have that knowledge for a reason.
We have new T-shirts coming in.
I was gonna do drum roll.
Yeah,
We
you
have new
didn't even give us a
t-shirts.
chance. But yeah, go ahead.
We
Because
have-
I had to nip it in the bud. I'm like trying to get it out, and then we keep rolling
Yeah.
up.
Keep
We have new
talking about
T-shirts
fucking
coming out.
Fox News.
T-shirts.
We have new T-shirts, and they are very good quality. We'll be getting them within the next couple weeks. If you guys follow us on Instagram, we'll give you guys all ways to buy them on there.
We're just going to call this our second generational T-shirts. Or-
Second
T-shirts
T-shirt. I
2.0.
really want to
Yes.
believe if you guys were with us on our first shirt while we were working the kinks out, that you guys will be with us on our second. And we're just trying to get better. You guys know it.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to get better. We know a couple months ago we had a couple weeks where we had no episodes. We had issues in the last couple weeks where we couldn't meet in person. We brought it out to you guys however we could, whether it was good or bad. We're working on it. We're working on it.
Good news is we actually have the inventory of shirts coming very shortly. So they will be in our possession. We just have to figure out our shipping system and a couple other questions, and they should be ready to go.
Exciting.
It is
Yep.
exciting.
Yeah.
It
I
is
do-
exciting.
You know what they say.
They're basic
The
T-shirts,
wolf
but I
on
like
the hill
them.
isn't as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill, you know?
Oh yeah,
That's
Yep.
true.
they're for anybody. These T-shirts.
Also, bigger news. Looks like our following on Instagram, you know, Earl, I posted something. I was working out the other day.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Wasn't you.
It's me.
It's our
I'm the manager.
It's our social media
it's our
manager.
social media
I'm
director.
the
EJ.
man-
It was Earl.
It was me.
It was Earl.
If you guys have weird DMs there that come to you, like someone calls you a weakling, that's Doc.
I would never.
But anyway, I was
Okay.
working out the other day, and I thought about it. And we had recently talked about like maybe having like an event. Then we're like, oh, we're not really financially stable enough. Blah 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 blah. Luckily, I have a really cool friend named Ryan. He owns a gym. I'm working out at it, and I'm thinking like, yeah, why doesn't the Ball Breakers podcast host a workout? It'll be a nice way to meet all you guys who are listening. Obviously, if you're local to us in South Jersey here. So we don't have all the details fully worked out. We're in the middle of doing that. We're going to do that when we're done recording today. But we want to host a workout, right? There's going to be a price point. We don't know what it is. These are just like soft details. But you guys come out, come meet us. I'll be running this workout, and it'll be fun.
I'm actually stoked for this because
Details to come.
I just went back to the gym. I plan on easing myself back into 1 day, then 2 days, 3 days a week, 1 week at a time, just because I have a lot of work schedule hours. So I'm excited to join this workout because I like trying myself. And you know what else? I like embarrassing myself in front of people. Like if I'm not up to date with this workout, I want to show everyone that I'm willing to embarrass myself to get
It's not
through it.
embarrassing. There's nothing embarrassing about trying to better yourself.
That's all I need to hear.
No.
Now I want to go.
You're willing to make yourself vulnerable
I'm willing to go.
to overcome a task and overcome.
So yeah, details to come. Ball Breakers podcast. We're hosting a workout. It's going to be at X Athletics in Brooklawn. We want to give a big shout out to Ryan, making
Shout
this
out
all
Ryan.
possible. The
Shout out
community over
Ryan.
there is great, and like I said, details to come. You guys, if you're really gauging interest, I know I posted a little poll on there. I had really good results. If you guys want to know what's going on, where we're at with that, please feel free to DM us or even my personal. But yeah.
Or
how many
Doc's personal.
How many opportunities do you get to work out with the Ball Breakers? You get a good workout in, you're healthy, and you get to meet us. I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there for the
I think it'd
community
be
out
really
there.
cool if, because sometimes if you feel like you assume that most people that come we know. What if they're really, we know there's listeners
branch
out there
out the
who
community.
We have no idea who
Yeah,
they are.
and I don't
That'd
want
be really cool to meet them.
I don't want people to feel uncomfortable with us.
Yeah.
No.
If you guys listen to us for however long, 45 minutes to an hour and a half,
10
some of our
minutes.
first episodes, I don't want you guys to feel uncomfortable about us. Like, we want you guys that aren't our friends listening to come.
Odds are, if you're coming to the event, you're probably within our community, so we probably have a lot of similarities just from that there, and we would love to meet new people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's not going to be
just some
anything
normal
crazy.
guys.
It's going to be very beginner friendly.
Me and Doc go at it in the beginning, and that's about it. That's all you got to get through
We're
with us.
really just any guy. If you think about
We're
it,
just a bunch of guys.
we're just like you listening.
Bunch
so.
of bulls.
Like if you see me
Just a
at the
couple
bar
bulls.
and you're like, oh my god, that's Earl from Ball Breakers podcast. Why don't you just come up to me and be like, yo man, I like your podcast.
Aren't
like,
you Earl from Ball Breakers?
yeah, like
Podcast?
don't feel weird about it. You know what I mean?
That happened to me and Chris in Missouri.
It did.
No
Yeah.
way.
Someone knew
Yeah.
who Ryan was.
Uh-huh.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
So-
cool.
You know what? We got a few more things to go over, don't we?
Yeah, but we can save some. We can save some for the next, man.
Mhm.
What do you want to talk about next? Because we have a lot to go over. We got the big announcement out there,
We
the
got
two big
our-
announcements.
And we got some really good talk. Unfortunately, my brain still kind of hurts thinking about like if there are lowercase g's out there.
Mhm.
So what are we talking about? We talking about NFTs or going right to sports? You make the decision. We can do both.
Okay.
We don't have to talk about NFTs
really
today.
quickly.
Let's. I want to hear an update. Give
really
me an update.
okay. Really quickly.
Earl will give you an update.
Me and Chris are seeming like we're making a good amount of money in a couple NFTs that we had. And now, as NFTs, like we said before, just like investing, you go in, you buy this thing, sell it for later, right? For higher money. It doesn't always have to be your goal, but usually in our lives, money is the goal for everything we do.
Mm-hmm.
So just a little, no, it's a little. No, I'm actually interested. This is a
So-
little financial aspect. So I would like to say, is it okay if our viewers were to ask questions in DMs? Maybe we
Oh,
make this into a
for
little
sure.
segment if they were to
yeah,
ask questions.
I can't tell you guys enough. And I reposted it on our Instagram story. Our friend Brandon, we went to high school with him. Me and Chris kind of talked about our NFTs briefly, what we're holding, what we're investing in. He went ahead and minted 2, and he's right on the elevator with me and Chris now.
Maybe we can. Maybe we can even start. Making
That's really
sure.
cool.
Make-
Yeah.
Just a disclaimer: if anybody genuinely wants to know and learn about it, I and Earl as well. I don't want to speak for you, but I think
Mhm.
you would agree with me that we love talking about it and would love to help more people get involved.
The only thing that I want to say about NFTs, because I do want to make it really quickly, like I said, just the points of performance. Me and Chris invest in something, it's really kicking off. The only issue that I'm having internally, and I don't know if Chris having this too, but like I mentioned, we're on an elevator, and anytime you're investing, you think about when do you get off this elevator,
Yeah, we're gonna have to sell at one point.
right?
So
and
to put some perspective to it, Earl, real quick, it's like the original value of what we put into one of them is probably about 20 times that, right?
yeah,
Or so.
I mean, I don't care if you. I mean, my wallet address is public to the community. I
As is
paid
mine.
$270 for this thing, and I got offers today for like $1,800.
Okay.
Right, like
Yeah.
it's all public. You guys
And-
could go on OpenSea and see my profile.
And it's really just all about demand, right? Who wants
The
it?
the thing with
Yes,
me is
pretty much.
right, and I will tell anybody this who is investing, though this is not financial advice. Disclaimer: if you are investing, I just talked with a friend who's really into investing the other day, not NFT specifically, but he told me when you get on and the elevator's going up, no matter where you get off, you won't go back down. And I'll just say that.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. But yeah, so just throwing it out there. If anybody has, it's very at first it can be very intimidating.
Well, it's new.
It's new.
Anything new that also requires your finances can be intimidating.
It's new. You have to put your hard-earned money into it.
And it's not necessarily
challenging.
cheap.
And
It's not necessarily
It's not
cheap.
necessarily cheap, nor is it necessarily user-friendly at first until you get the hang of it. You would agree with me, right?
Mhm.
You have to navigate it very carefully, but like I said, I would love to help anybody that's interested. So, but yeah, I mean, if we can do a little NFT talk at the end of every
I was gonna
episode.
say maybe I was gonna say we can add it right to the episode and maybe even concur. What's the right word there? Concur with our viewership. Like, hey, listen, is it okay if we mention your name on the podcast?
Yeah,
you asked this
Concur?
question.
No, I don't think that's the right word. Maybe
Concur,
corroborate.
doctor.
to collaborate. Yeah, I mean,
Collaborate
with our viewers and like we
Or
gave
just
our friend
communicate.
Brandon a shout out. That's awesome that he joined the.
because I'll
With
ask a
us.
question a week too, just to add
Yeah,
to it.
listen, seriously,
Yeah,
if that is
please do.
something that really interests anybody listening, even if we even get some sort of crazy audience, who knows, maybe me and Chris might just do like an episode about it, just me and him, and answering questions, whatever, but of course, gauging audience. Speaking of things that aren't financial advice.
That one question I ask is
That's
completely
that.
free. It's free information that I could use in my life.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and I have no problem dishing out.
And speaking
Free
of
info.
things that are not financial advice, we've got a lot of sports going on,
hmm
all of us.
Eagles are playing currently. Let's see.
Down early.
We are
Was it
They
8
down?
Yeah.
Okay, the Buccaneers scored the first drive of the game. It's not good, but
what are we betting? Because I'm also betting on NFTs, so it's hard for me to bet on sports.
yeah, I completely stopped gambling. I took the money that I won from gambling into NFTs, and I've yet to make another sports bet.
Same. I won.
That's
I
good.
split our fantasy league of.
Yep.
Our fantasy league is like something about moms. But anyway,
Everybody's got a niche, and I'm just saying we already
Niche.
have posted Doc's niche, Doc's lock
Niche.
on the gram. Niche.
Yeah.
or is it niche?
Niche.
It's a niche, yeah. And me and Earl's niche, maybe we could share some of our NFTs maybe once a week with the viewers. Give them, because at the end of the day, it is artwork as well,
I got
and
you.
some of them are very aesthetically pleasing, which is nice.
Yeah, we could. Me and Chris really could talk about what are NFTs for like 25 minutes.
Starting next week,
we
we'll go
could
with
start-
we'll go with a segment.
We could probably talk for a couple hours.
And I'm
to be
feeling like we
frank.
can't have a segment. I feel like it needs to be like a whole dedicated other
We would have to make a
podcast
whole other
episode.
show.
Maybe you guys can have a spin-off podcast.
Maybe down the line. Who
Yeah.
knows, Earl? It's not a bad idea.
Who
So
knows?
Talk about it. All right, Doc. Let's get into it. Let's get into the nitty-gritty. Let's go in. Let's go into your lock. Let's talk about what you were thinking. It's already posted on the gram for anybody who wants to take it.
Yeah.
Floor is yours.
The lock is Dallas -3, and this.
Why?
Well, why? Well, because the line's weird, -3. Number one, they're basically saying Dallas is a favorite just because they're the home team, and I don't believe that. I think they're just the better team. You know what I mean? Like,
I think maybe something more like 5.5.
yeah, it
6
should have been a
would
little more. I mean, San Fran's just squeaked in. They had a tough overtime win against the Rams, emotional last weekend. And there's a lot of talk about the Niners are a scary team and this and that, but Dallas has been like really good all year. I'm just rolling with they're a good team, better, more complete team.
Okay.
And I trust Dak Prescott more than I trust Jimmy Garoppolo. And
Court-
they're only a 3-point favorite at home, which they're
At
probably
home in the
yeah,
playoffs,
yeah,
3 points. Come on, brother.
They're just saying they're a favorite because they're the home team, which I don't like. That's like disrespectful.
Doc's on the combination of not just better team but better quarterback.
Yeah,
The downfall will be Mike McCarthy.
yeah, definitely.
He's the downfall and
Definitely,
all.
definitely.
I mean, if we look at Mike McCarthy, think about how he wasted Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
The only reason I say I can see you like watching the game saying what is this? What is happening because of Mike McCarthy? That would be the only
Yeah.
thing that I can't see.
He would definitely choke that game somehow.
I can't see Zeke not getting
Yeah.
close to 100 yards. I can't see Dak not snapping a little bit. But I can see Mike McCarthy
They
getting
have
the win in
str-
this game.
The only thing Dallas has struggled with their offense all year.
Yeah, they've been up and down, like
Which is
consistent.
really weird because if you were to ask me, I would probably tell you that they have maybe like a top 4 receiving core in the league when you look at their receivers. I mean, even Michael Gallup is ready to go
Probably
anytime.
the best receiving core.
yeah, they're.
I
up
would
there
say
for
that the
sure.
Bengals are so
Yes.
fucking
Bengals
good.
are there, yeah.
Um,
And one
Tampa
thing
Bay
that San
before
Fran
Antonio
isn't
Brown.
good at is they don't have a good pass defense, and that just makes me like a little more like okay.
Big CD
Dallas
Lamb
can,
day.
like,
I
shred
mean, you
down.
have Amari Cooper
Yeah.
who's leading the league for the last since he's been a rookie in separation with the corners, and then you have
Yeah,
someone like
he's
CeeDee
good.
Lamb who's ready to come out of his
Yeah.
shell and just be the guy, but Amari Cooper's kind of in the way. So
There's just some things you can't overthink. Just
think
like
the
just
Eagles
like
are
the
gonna
late
win.
game. Don't overthink that game, please, for anyone.
Let's speaking of the night game, let's go into
And I probably would have took the Eagles with the points early, but who knows?
let's do this. Let's do picks with Doc's insight. So we are going to get picks from all three of you guys for each of these games I'm going to list, and then Doc's going to give a sweet little insight to the game. You guys can give like a statement as to why you guys think too, but Doc's our sports guy. So let's get into it.
The Eagles
First-
are going to cover.
So let's do the Eagles first. Right now it's 7-0, but say you weren't to know that. And
So that we
This is
currently
a
are at
Actually-
great time to
disadvantage.
live bet.
I was going to say, so the original line was -7.5 Tampa.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
right now, the live bet is -13.5 Tampa.
It started
Scores.
at 10, right?
No,
Sorry.
it started at 7.5.
Did it?
The line Tampa -7.5.
No, I'm saying like a week ago.
Yeah, what did it
Oh, it was
at?
opened up at 10. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, so people are betting
Hmm.
the Eagles.
Yeah.
It's only because it's 10 points. It's like nobody wants to bet a team laying 10 points.
All right, so you thought
So-
the Eagles. What was Earl thinking?
I'll take Tampa all day in that matchup. Are we talking money lines? Are we talking point
No,
spreads?
points.
Let's
Spread.
let's do the spread. And then,
I'll take.
yeah, let's do spread.
I would have taken Tampa Bay up to -14.
Which is fair. Like
Right,
you
I
can't
mean,
be at fault for thinking that way.
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even think that until I looked at the Eagles' record or schedule at the beginning of the season. I didn't think the Eagles were even going to go positive. Then the
Yeah.
schedule came out, and then I was like, okay, they have a chance to make to the playoffs. But I just think Tom Brady, elite.
The best.
Nobody
yeah.
really better at this time of year in football.
It's a perfect game where you just don't overthink it.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Like right, like
Just-
I'm not looking at these point spreads and saying, "Oh man, the Eagles said +10."
Were you on Tampa?
When it was at like Tampa -9, I was on the Eagles, and then when it went to 7.5 last night, I was like, too many people betting Philly.
Yeah, that's way too many.
Yeah,
I
I'd
just
probably rather
can't-
bet Tom Brady and the boys at home.
I would never be able to bet against I would never bet this game if my life
Yeah, me
depended
neither. I
on
don't
it.
bet
but
the Eagles or bet against the Eagles. So
yeah, me either.
4:30 game. San Fran at Dallas. Dallas -3.
I'm
Chris.
sorry, Doc. I'm going San Fran all day here, and there's absolutely zero analysis for it. I just cannot
Bias.
fucking stand the Cowboys.
+3 and money line, or just +3?
I would put everything on San Fran.
+3 or money line.
I would bet a -100.
Oh,
I
so-
hate the
Okay,
Cowboys.
so he's money line. Okay.
Money line and
that's not
spread.
that's not very good.
It's not
Earl?
good. That's an emotional.
I'm taking
pick.
Dallas.
Okay.
I'll take Dallas
Yeah.
for sure. We already kind of laid out why.
see, if
for
I was
me.
gonna bet San Fran, I would bet them on the money line
Yeah,
because I'm not taking them with 3 points. I'm
Right.
not doing it.
That's
Okay.
just stupid at that point.
Understood. Okay, so Doc's lock was -3. No need to go into this one. Emotional ties with this
Chiefs.
next game.
-11, whatever. Give
Big
me
Ben.
-27. I don't care.
Well, let me finish, bro. Chiefs
Sorry.
-12.5. Big Ben's potential final game, or could be a
It's
victory
gonna
lap.
be his final game. I mean, come on.
Chris
don't
is taking
overthink it.
Chiefs -12.5.
I've been going with Doc has said it and Chris just said it. I'm not overthinking games. I think Ben Roethlisberger is a piss poor quarterback at this point
And
in
a
his
horrible
career.
human being.
And a horrible human.
Come
He
on, man.
allegedly, they say, raped a woman or a young girl.
Why
But
is he even still in the league?
you
Like,
know
come
what?
on,
These
man.
football. This is a whole nother thing. These football players, they get away with murder. Ray Lewis, you know, these guys, they
Like,
do. They
literally.
beat their wives, children, you name it. They can do it.
Big
And
Ben's at top of that
I
list.
hate to bring you guys into political commentary. Big Ben's a white man.
Okay, so Earl's got Chiefs -12.5.
Moral of
Doc.
the story, Chiefs.
All right, listen. There was I will admit there was like 2 days during a week where I was like, I can't believe this is gonna happen, to where like, Big Ben's. But then it hit me. I'm like, this is freaking Ben Rodgers. This isn't Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers.
And like the Steelers aren't very
They're
good
not good
at all.
And then it hit me like, this team stinks. Like they're not coming in against City and winning.
You're going to say Chiefs -12.5 too?
Yeah, I would probably go Chris, an alternate line, take a
Yeah,
-21
like
or something.
25.
Okay.
They're just
Yeah.
not good.
Yeah, no, that's like crazy.
Like
And the
if,
Chiefs at home in the playoffs.
if it,
come
like
on.
I said, like this is where I was saying, I'm the biggest Big Ben hater because I think he's the most overrated quarterback ever.
And he's a terrible human being. Like,
He walked into a Super Bowl. Do you want to know? Hold on, I'll just give you a stat real quick, just real fast. Big Ben's first Super Bowl.
Oh my God! This just turned into
This
an
is-
anti-Big Ben.
He went 9 for
podcast.
21, 123 yards, and 2 interceptions, and they won the game 21-10. His first Super Bowl.
yeah, this is 100% an anti-Big Ben podcast.
Yeah, he's a piece of
We
shit.
don't like him.
I don't like him either, but I'm
Chiefs
going
-12 at him.
to go with Steelers +12.5. I don't care
Mystique.
if I have a say or not.
No, that's
Yeah.
I'm
good.
falling into the hype.
You should.
I love it. I love going on TikTok and seeing his smile for no reason
plus
all the
12
time.
and a half.
Yeah, it's a lot of points.
Plus 12 and a half anyone. I
He's a-
mean, that's a good
Yeah,
bet.
and they just kind of aired them 3 weeks ago, so it's hard to be like kill a team twice. Like
That's actually why it's hysterical. It's like they almost dropped this entire narrative of Big Ben because it's his last game.
yeah,
So
but
I'm
if
just
this was
seeing
like
him.
Aaron Rodgers coming out. This is my last year. Okay, yeah, then
Then you'd
maybe
be a little
maybe I'm
nervous.
going to be a little nervous. But this is Ben Roethlisberger who
But
can't throw a football.
I will say, if the Steelers win, I believe sports are fixed.
yeah, I
And-
agree.
And here we
Because
go.
it's going to be like Michael Jordan has the flu. Of course, he's going to do good. Like,
Here we go, guys. You guys ready for this one? We got the last game,
Oh, there is another game.
the Monday night
Oh
game.
my God, I forgot.
This one is the only one I have actual ties to because I have $25 from the beginning of the season for the Rams to win the Super Bowl for $430.
I'm with you on that. Go Rams. I'm taking
Minus
them.
3.5 at LA, Arizona.
Wait,
LA's a favorite.
LA's the favorite, yeah. Minminus 3.5 at LA.
I'm taking the
Arizona.
Rams all day in this.
I'm
I'm
on
not.
the Rams. Go ahead, Doc.
I'm taking the Cardinals.
Come on, we knew that.
Only.
Only because 3 people said Rams already.
No, only because that line. It was kind of like the Eagles thing, where the line was like 4.5 all week, and then it went down to the 3.5. Scares that scares me. Whenever it's a 3.5, it's like,
they're gonna win by 3.
yeah. I don't think I can see. I think the Rams can win, but it's a division game.
Mhm.
Cardinals are 7-1 on the road. They just play better on the road. The Rams aren't. Stafford kind of like
They have the
towards the end
MVP
of the
on
year
their team.
sucked.
They
I'll
have
be-
the MVP, Doc, in Cooper Cup.
Oh yeah, I mean, listen,
And then on
I'm
the
taking
other
the points. I think the Rams should
On
win.
the other
but
side, they got Odell Beckham. We know what he can do when
you'll
he's called
always buy
upon.
that nickel. You know,
Is this a possible overthink game? Are you overthinking the Cardinals here?
No,
Nah,
I'm
because
just
the Cardinals are
following
pretty
like
good.
No,
they're
I
a good
know,
team.
yeah.
They're
I was
good on the
gonna say
road.
That it is. They could 100% like blow
And
out the
Stafford
Rams if they
hasn't
wanted
been that
to.
good
Right.
lately. He's thrown like 10 interceptions in his
Yeah,
past
he's been
4
struggling.
games. Like,
He has. I think he's gonna turn it around.
yeah,
though.
I
TBH.
love Stafford. I'm taking a 3.5.
This
Pretty good
game has the
college.
highest diversity of the ceilings between like the Rams could blow them out or the Cardinals could blow them
Yeah.
out.
I don't know if it's gonna be a blowout, but
I know
it should be a good game.
It should
It's
be a good
Monday
game.
night
Now.
game.
Yep. All right. We are. Oh, Earl had to go fix the camera. He was coming to end the podcast. Earl, would you like to close us out with anything special?
No, like I said, I gave it to you guys before. That's what I'm going to start doing. I don't want to start off like, I'm okay. I want to get the energy high.
Yeah.
At this point in time, maybe you're good. Ow.
What the hell was that?
God.
Slap me in the chest.
Aggressive.
Energy's high.
It is.
The energy's high. I hope at this point in the podcast, you've listened. We're just like Marvel Ball Breakers podcast. You listen to us, you could get inspired. You could think. You could cry. You could laugh.
I'm on the Iron
And
Man.
we give you everything, man. We give you everything. We're Ball Breakers Podcast. We got new T-shirts coming out. We're hosting a workout soon. Stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Love it.
Bye.
Bye.